Next up, we have Marcus Feistl, who's going to be talking about building Web3 communities in the music and creator industry.
Cool.
Marcus, welcome to the stage, man. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I think it works. Hi, everyone. Yeah. So my name is Marcus. I'm COO of LimeWire, and I want to talk about building Web3 communities in the music and creator space. But before I actually start jumping to the actual content pieces, because a couple of you asked me already out there, probably because of the very subtle hoodie I'm wearing. Yeah, I'm actually from LimeWire. LimeWire is back. We just relaunched it as a Web3 company a couple of months back in the music industry again. And for those of you who are not completely aware of what LimeWire is, what we are doing, what the history behind it is, just a quick recap. LimeWire in the early 2000s was like one of the biggest peer-to-peer file sharing platforms pretty much. So really think about keywords, illegal music downloads. That's like the short summary, I would say. 50 million monthly active users, pretty big in the US, pretty big in the UK. And really, especially for me personally and my age group, I think, like one of the #1 platforms to get to know music pretty much. Like you were downloading all the music files you probably couldn't completely afford back in the like teenage times. And everybody somehow got used to music through one of those platforms, and LimeWire being one of the biggest. They shut down in 2010. We acquired the social media accounts, the domain, and all the assets around it, and now revamping it as an NFT Web3 company targeted towards driving communities for music artists and creators as such. But before I talk too much about what I think about LimeWire, we also created our TV commercial actually, just a few months back. There was our LimeWire is Back campaign.
Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crack it? Why me roll? Why me crack that soldier boy? That Superman. Soldier boy, tell. Crack that soldier. Now why me? Crack that soldier. Now why me? Crack that soldier. Now why me? Crack that soldier. Now what?
Yeah, so obviously we're playing around a lot with the nostalgia around the brand. As I just said, revamping it now as a Web3 marketplace. But let's jump to the content pieces and what I actually want to talk about, not too much about LimeWire. I mean, I want to talk about music, NFTs as such, and how you can create communities around it, and how we are doing it at LimeWire. Maybe to start with, as an easy start, a couple of facts and case studies around trends and recent developments we've seen in the music NFT space. And I just brought 3 case studies that I thought are super interesting. Probably most of you guys are familiar with some of them, I guess. So really just 3 drops where I think these just it's a perfect example of how much the space has developed already. So there's Blau, who actually released 33 NFTs in a single auction and raised over 11 million USD just with the NFT drops. Actually quite interesting, as you guys might be familiar with, he later followed on to actually also co-found Royal.io, which is like obviously one of the big royal NFT platforms for the music industry. There's Kings of Lean, which did a really bold move of releasing their entire LP as an NFT, raising over 2.6 million. And then there was a Weekend, just as an example, 3 collections, 2 million USD in primary sales. So obviously really, as we just also heard on the panel, giving back to the artists and now finally earning what in my opinion they deserve as artists and not just going through the streaming platforms. But what all these 3 projects have in common in terms of timing, they were all going through like the entire bull run, where a hype phase of NFTs we've seen in the last 1.5 years or so. So in quotation marks, relatively easy with a big name to raise massive amounts with NFT drops. But what's actually happening beyond the hype, like beyond that bull market scenario now in a bear market? How can you create lasting communities? And that's definitely the challenge we are in now. How can we create NFT drops that are driving long-term value? And I also bought 3 case studies how we are doing it at LimeWire and how we set out to do it and started building communities in the NFT space just a couple of months back. First example is our own collection, the LimeWire Originals. It's an NFT collection of 10,000 pieces. We are releasing it in batches to make it scarce, obviously. And it's really targeted towards music lovers, music enthusiasts, and people that are nostalgic about the LimeWire brand. We so far minted 1,200 of those NFTs, so 12% of the entire collection. We have around 1,000 holders. Primary sales volume was 600,000 USD. But more importantly, what I really like about it is most of these holders are actually just staking the NFTs and are just waiting to get the utility perks and to benefit from what's actually the story behind it. So what we are mainly focusing on is phygital utilities and experiences. So it's really this combination of a physical event or utility that is much more tangible together with a digital experience. So we started off, as you can see on the 2 pictures on the right side, with physical events. We hosted a party in New York, we had an event in Ibiza, and our original holders, they could pretty much just show their original for the entire summer season at the 2 biggest clubs in Ibiza, Ushuaia and Hai, and were able to enter through the guest list. So a very clearly physical experience and very easy to understand for them. We are launching music NFT drops exclusively just for the NFT holders for our community, starting in January. There's virtual events. We are starting actually next week with Decentraland. There's token airdrops. So there's a real story behind it. It's much more than just a big name, LimeWire, coming back and dropping something, or a big artist coming back and piggybacking on the big name and social media following they have. There's actually a story behind the NFTs. A second example I want to show is H, the rapper. You guys might be familiar with him when you're from the UK specifically. Really trending at the moment. He's from Manchester, just released his first album actually. And to accompany his album, we did an NFT drop with him as a mystery box. So you could get the digital art piece you can see on the left side, together with a physical experience of physical perks you could win as part of the mystery box raffle. So these items were lifetime VIP access passes to his events for the rest of your life, pretty much. There were shopping tours with H in London. There were meet and greets together with him you could win. So obviously much more and an actual story behind it, and something you cannot just buy on the market, but something that ties you much tighter to the actual artist. And we were combining this with physical copies of his CD and vinyl, making it the first chart-eligible NFT drop in the UK. And the last bit I want to tell you about is the Metaverse Music Festival, where we are co-hosting one of the main stages next week on Decentraland, actually. So we are taking this entire story of physical experiences and NFTs tied to physical use cases now towards the virtual world and the Metaverse. So the next evolutionary step is going to be, we have this amazing stage you can see on the right side, and we are tying the experiences of our holders and our community to a Metaverse experience with free variables, with VIP access passes to our original holders, with artists performing, including Soulja Boy, you just heard the song in the commercial, with Kinty, Elijah Blake, and a couple of others that are releasing songs even as NFTs during the event. So it's a really nice experience in the virtual world and taking the entire community towards the Metaverse now. So in short, I really believe it's like the most important thing we are trying to create is a story behind every drop we're doing. I think it should be much more exclusive, it should be much more of a journey, and you got to think months and years ahead of time and not just drop a big name and a big NFT piggybacking on the social media following of a single artist or a single brand. That's it in short. If you guys want to connect, I think the 10 minutes are almost over now. That's my Telegram. Just quickly connect with me. I'm probably also going to wait here in the back for a couple of minutes for questions. And yeah, really excited about what's happening with LimeWire next year. It's going to be a fun year, I'm pretty sure. And thanks for having me.